Good day, BroadCoven. I'm here to drop in with you around the Lion's Gate, this 8-8 portal. Some of you may be wondering, what the heck is Lion's Gate? What is that actually? From an astrological standpoint, this is the time when there is an alignment of the sun in Leo, Sirius, the spiritual sun, Orion's belt, and Earth. And so it's just a very potent combination of energies, and it is an initiatory gateway, especially this year. Okay, I really was curious about what the transits were today, because the Lion's Gate actually opens up on the 26th of July. But it continues on with this being kind of like the amplitude of energy going down today. But we do have it going through until the, what is the date? What is the date? Did I write it down? Did I write it down? The 12th. The 12th. And this is significant, okay? I want to kind of touch some base on some astrology and how it ties into what's coming up, which is a really action-packed time. I'm going to stop with these cards here. I already pre-shuffled the deck and did my split of the deck. I cut the deck 3 separate times, and then each time that I cut it, I look at what is the bottom card that kind of like gives me a basis of the energy I'm about to tap into for the collective. And it was like, boom, 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 boom today. So I've taken these cards out. We're going to do things a little bit different today. All right. I'm going to talk to you about the astrology, but I'm also going to do a collective read. I want to show you these cards because they're very significant. And this is what's going to form the basis of our read. But I want to explain why I have this phrase up here. Never give up and good luck will find you. That was a download from Falcor of the Never Ending Story. If you're not aware of the Never Ending Story, you got to see the Never Ending Story. I've had this phrase, Never Ending Story, coming into my mind a lot lately. It's just been dropping into my consciousness, and I feel like that's the energy that is very much in play. And I didn't understand why until I remembered Falcor's famous quote when I was like looking out my window today, my trusty window, and I saw the clouds kind of morph, and it reminded me of Falcor. Falcor is the last luck dragon in the universe, the multiverse, really, because it's not just a universe, it's a multiverse. And we're really dropping in around that kind of energy with what we're stepping into now. I got a lot of quantum physics coming through that really came through this download. The title of this, quantum entanglement. This is the energy in play. Quantum entanglement is that energy shifts. It actually shifts structure, and it shifts in accordance with being observed, and it depends on the observer as well, how it's being observed. But behind that, like behind the veil, energy, there's no need to have any distinction at all. That you can be connected at a great distance from another and still pick up, that something's going down with them. You can feel love for people that are going through something heavy on the other side of the globe, even though you're not there going through it with them. We all know of this too. Just the collective energy is getting more and more open at this time. And because of that, people also are picking up a lot more. There's more frequency to tap into on the airwaves, so to speak. And at times that can kind of overload us. At times that can lead to a lot of intensity. And at other times it can be difficult to decipher what's mine, what's theirs, and you may be dealing with some very challenging situations at this time. When I think of airwaves, I also think of communication. And we just had the supermoon in Aquarius that went down on the 1st, okay? And we talked about this in a recent download I got on Fragarach about exercising our truth, like knowing the truth and speaking the truth and acting upon the truth. And we're really heading to the crux of this time. And it has everything to do with the astrology in play. So yes, today is the most potent opportunity to really set your intentions for Lionsgate. But you're still going to be working with this energy until the 12th. And it's so pivotal with what's going on with the astrology at that time, because that leads us up to the Cazimi. And when we're looking at the Cazimi, we're looking at Venus conjunct the sun. Okay, so this is an opportunity for that happy ending, that lucky break. You know, maybe it's coming in on the wings of Falcor. Okay, you know, it might be. There might be that kind of epic vibe to some of what's going down now. This isn't fairy tale fantasy, because there's every bit of magic and kindred souls like coming in. That also brings me to that piece of quantum entanglement. You know, the ability to feel when you're connected to another's heart. You know, even though you're apart. That applies in this life and on all levels of reality. That's why when someone passes, you know, you can still feel, even though they died, you can still feel that connection. It's because that connection remains. That is that quantum entanglement, right? It's the deeper current of energy that's behind things, you know, that the song of ecstasis. That's the way I like to view it. The song of ecstasis that sings things into creation, you know, which also came forward in looking at the 4 jewels. So the Tuatha De Danann, the 4th treasure is that stone of destiny, the Fail. And it sings out. It sings out when touched by a sovereign. And so this is that piece, what's behind the veil, that constant connection of energy, all things energetically connected. And the only differentiations has to do with our perspective of it, our view of it. And that changes from person to person. And we know this, right? Just navigating communication on a more expansive level. And how do you pull people together from all different, you know, walks of life with all different kinds of experiences and very individual truths, you know? And there's a lot of this energy coming through. We'll dive into all of that. But we got, you know, just as much as we got really positive aspects going on right now with this Lionsgate, we have extremely challenging ones too. And we're going to be bumping up against an extremely challenging aspect tomorrow, actually. And that particular challenging aspect is on the 9th, when we have Venus square Uranus. So we know what that means, you know. This is about something comes that disrupts our sense of beauty. Something comes that disrupts our sense of harmony, our sense of peace, okay? Something comes, and I feel like the way it's really awakening for the collective is that it comes in the form of really understanding your truth and understanding the actions that you need to take, and how this is going to be disruptive. It's sort of like a bitter pill when it comes in. And yet I want to show you the cards that came out. We got, first of all, the 6 of Wands. This is the energy that is in play right now. Very much the energy front and center. We have Venus, of course, is front and center during this cycle. Venus is also retrograde. Venus is retrograde in Leo and will be until September 3rd. So we're going to be riding that one out for a while. We also have a very significant a bit of action going on with Venus, which I'll get into, that actually is going down right now in the transits today that directly involves Venus. So we'll talk about that. Mars as well. Mars and Mercury are at the forefront as well. So communication, front and center, taking the initiative, you know, that's the benefit right now. When we look at Lionsgate, it really marries in these energies of Jupiter and Mars, when we got this Lion's Gate. That's the benefit of this time. So it's about making best use of those energies. So when we're looking at Mars in the light, we're looking at moving into expansion. We're looking at hedging our bets and having them pay off. That lucky gamble, you know, throwing the dice, a bit of throwing caution to the wind, doing what really inspires us to take that kind of initiative, right? Because usually if you're willing to take a risk, you feel like the reward is great enough. So this is something you really want, right? So it's about that kind of energy in play, you know, really getting in touch with that truth, Fragorock. But remember, Fragorock, its powers and its gift, which I feel is this, you know, it leads to the victory. It leads to fueling the fire that heads toward victory, blazes the trail toward victory. So this is all about really looking at what is that truth that you cannot deny? What is the truth that at the end of the day that you would rise up for this truth if it meant you could get that reward on the other side of it? This is what you're coming into alignment with right now. This is what you should spend some time getting in touch with today. This is what's on offer. This is actually taking a risk and having it pay off big time. It's not easy though. It is disruptive. We know that because the next card that was on the bottom of the deck as I was cutting was the Tower, okay? So this is Awakener energy. We do got Uranus trine Pluto. That's one of the transits in action today. So it's kind of like, this is where you can use that energy today. You can use that energy to take a risk, to make the risky choice, to put yourself on the line in some way. It may be something that doesn't even seem like it's that big, but it has like a ripple effect that reverberates through the cosmic web of creation. I'm telling you, whatever risk you take today, no matter how small it may seem to you, that is in alignment with your heart, will pay off big. It's a big gamble. It's a big reward. I'm telling you. This is like an awakener energy, right? And there's other challenging aspects going on as well in the mix of this. I mean, we got a lot of squares in the transits today. We have the sun square the moon, all right? So very much, you know, there's this polarity. We got a face-off energy, because when I think of the moon, I think of Pisces energy. I think of Cancer energy that directly ties into the energy that will be in play with the blue moon we have coming up in Pisces, that is actually going down in the sector of the sky that's associated with Cancer, the big mama. So those energies very much in play. Dagda's cauldron very much in play. The opportunity for that Ace of Cups that just fills us up, continues to pour over. And that ties into these cards that'll come later here that I'm going to share with you. But there's a risk that needs to be taken, right? We got to use our sword of truth, and we got to marry that energy with the fire and the wand and direct it. So this is very much like that squaring off of energies also of Libra, Aries, okay? It's that dichotomy, you know? Sun is very much about moving into action, and moon is very much about being receptive. So these two things can be very much at odds with each other at this time. And that's why today it's so important that you just take some kind of action, any kind of action. It will pay off. I don't care how small it is. If you just make a phone call, or if you, you know, go and sign up for that course, or you call that person, or, you know, you reach out in some way, you do whatever it is that you feel capable of doing at this time. It's going to gain momentum as you travel through this Lionsgate period up to the 12th. And this is significant because when we get to the 12th, it's a very critical point, okay? It's a very critical point. The seed that you plant now, all right, taking that action, planting that seed. We talked about that on that read about Fragorock. This seed is so essential right now, because the day after we end Lionsgate, okay, so now you step through the gateway. What are we at? We're at the 13th. And the 13th is when we have the Kazemi. And that's when Venus is going to be conjunct the sun. So coming into alignment today with that solar sun, the ruler of Leo, as well as the spiritual sun, Sirius, and really coming into alignment with these energies. Any kind of meditation you can do around this will be very helpful. You know, just as simple as going outside, gazing up at the sun, and just allowing your eyes to be open just a sliver to let that light in, let it stimulate your pineal gland, let it awaken your consciousness, let it also nourish your body and your soul, and allow yourself to visualize, you know, Sirius's energy coming and merging with that solar sun in your body at your solar plexus, right at your diaphragm, at place on your front body where your rib cage meets, and allow these two suns to merge with each other and grow large enough to surround you on all sides, above you, below you, behind you, before you. Let's all work with this today. Let's build this inner and outer light together, okay? And let's see what happens, because on the 13th with that Kazemi, this is when we get an opportunity to get that lucky break. To get that lucky break that Falcor is talking about, where if you never give up, good luck will find you, you know? And so this is really about asking yourself at this point, now that you're in alignment with your truth, what is it that you're not willing to give up on? What is it that maybe, even though, you know, we got to think about it whenever we look at fairy tales, you know, we look at the protagonist and they're just like, oh, they get so close. How many times they get so close and, oh, drats, I just missed it, you know, foiled again. It's very much that kind of vibe, okay? So this is about thinking about what's that thing that takes a licking and just keeps on ticking and keeps your ticker going, okay? That's very significant today. That's very, very significant today. There's going to be challenges. I mean, we have the sun square Jupiter too. All right. So this is what is like being highlighted for us at this time. Squares are challenging aspects. It's like something about what you're aligning with right now. It's not going to be comfortable, collective. It's not comfortable for any of us. It requires us to expand. It requires us to stretch. It requires us to grow. It requires us to step up. It requires accountability. I mean, this speaks globally, but it's also speaking very much personally too, okay? It's significant. It's very significant, but there's this need to really get the fixedness moving, okay? A fixed hand is a losing hand, all right? Right? If you're going to roll the dice, yeah, you got to hold them at a certain point. But if you want to see if you can win big, you got to toss them, right? You got to open your hand. You got to toss them and see what your lot is. And that's kind of what's in play right now. It's a very alchemical environment. Anything can happen. Anything goes, right? Anything goes when you're aligned with your heart and soul. Anything goes, okay? Anything goes. So fixed signs may really be feeling this a lot. Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, of course, the star of the hour. And with this particular deck, I also get a Fiacus right here with the snake symbolism and that little devilish energy. It just reminds me of a Fiacus. And when I say that, I say it in the most delicious way, okay? I think it's a really cool merging of energies when you get Scorpio and Sagittarius merged together. It really reminds me as well, it's not traditional view. It's my view, okay? But it's my view that that is very much a high priestess, magician kind of archetypal energy of Fiacus. It feels like that to me. Because when you look at that Sagittarian energy, it's extremely expansive. But when you look at Scorpio, it's very subterranean, you know what I mean? It's very, very much beneath the surface. And so I think it's a real cool merging of energies. And then you have Sagittarius, which is associated with temperance, right? Which is that ability, you know, to balance the two. So I really like that kind of imagery. And it reminds me of Libra balancing as well. It's kind of a similar track. balancing the shadow, the light. That's really what Libra does, finds the center balancing point. That's why you'll hear people say sometimes that Libra is devil's advocate, you know, because Libra has to look at both sides to make fair judgment. I mean, that's the card associated with Libra. Judgment in the major arcana, judgment as well as justice. I mean, that's a heavy responsibility. So that's what that balancing is about. I feel like there's like almost like a Ophiuchus is sort of like the like little devilish side of that, you know. I don't know why that's coming in, but it, you know, there's something here. Sphinx energy. Look at the Sphinx holds the sword. It reminds me of that Froggerok, the sword of truth, that it only has power when it's drawn. And in order to draw it, you have to act. You can't just know the truth. You have to be the truth. You have to live the truth. You have to speak the truth. Okay. So these themes very much front and center. And then after that came the star. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Because it's all about the stars today, right? It's all about the stars, the sun and Sirius. It's all about the stars today. It's always all about the stars, but it's really about the stars today. Orion's belt, okay? Look at this symbolism that is coming through here. And the earth, you know, nurturing the earth, pouring our waters out on the earth. Look at that balancing temperance quality here too. 1 foot in the water, knee on the land, okay? So this also brings forward the piece of cleansing. And I also feel like, you know, in drawing down our energy, it's also important to be mindful of paying some respect to the land as well. So I think today is a beautiful day in any way you can to connect with the earth, get grounded. It's also a time of really preparing to close the old cycle and to ready oneself, steady oneself to take the risk that's necessary to step into this good fortune. And look, I love the way the stars are around that one central star. And look, even here, there's like kind of, I love how back here, there's this one star that's kind of off to the side to itself. It reminds me of Sirius. We can't see it in the sky, but you can in the very, very early morning hours just on the horizon. And I have to tell you, I have been looking really, really late at night. I think it's one of the reasons why I haven't been able to really sleep lately, because I've been feeling the energy. The energy feels very magnified, and you can see it out there. It's actually really beautiful. I didn't know what I was seeing at first, but I understand now. It's really beautiful. So connect with these two suns, you know, and then you can have this blessing pour in. You know, I see that star as well, and it reminds me of a septagram. It reminds me of the Star of Fairy, which is all about the principles that are very much associated with those 4 treasures of the Tuatha De Danann. So this energy is still coming through very strongly right now. Watering our roots, staying connected to your roots, staying connected to your spiritual traditions as a source of nourishment, and remembering to give back to those roots, okay? And this has like big Ace of Cups energy in play, Ace of Cups energy in play, which is right on the horizon, okay? It is the offer of attainment that is coming in at this time, that Ace of Cups. And many people have been wanting this new emotional beginning, whether that is some kind of reconciliation, some kind of healing, or just a fresh start, you know, or a creative project fulfilled, you know, or some kind of musing energy to come in, some kind of spiritual inspiration. A lot of people have been holding on to this hope for the Ace of Cups in one way, shape, or form, and it is coming in. But first, the cleansing, right? The cleansing brings the hope through, okay? First, the cleansing, then the ending. And what follows the ending is rebirth energy, okay? And the rebirth energy comes through like this, because once I saw that, I mean, I couldn't believe it, that there was the 6 of Wands. This was just in my pre-shuffle, looking at the bottom of the deck energy. I couldn't believe there was the 6 of Wands. And then after it, boom, 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 four major arcana back to back, and heavy, heavy, heavy hitters. The Tower, Wheel of Fortune, the Star, Death. I mean, it has all the intrigue of like the casino. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm either gonna like win big or I'm gonna totally crap out, man. And that's also kind of like the fear that's in play right now. So it's those two sides with the sun square the moon. You know, is the risk worth the reward? And that's what you had to ask yourself right now. And perhaps that is the truth that we each individually need to arrive at, that Frog Rock requires us to arrive at. So we know the action we need to take. Is the risk worth the reward? Do you feel that connected to it in your heart? Do you feel that calling, that deeper calling, that magnetic pull? You know, that is that quantum entanglement in play. What is that thing that your soul is communicating with? What is that destination that your soul is communicating with? It's not a heady experience. It's all visceral. It's all animal body. Get in your body. You know, I think of that too when I think of that connecting with the earth, connecting with your roots. Like, don't forget your roots, man. Don't forget your roots. This is beautiful, moving into this expansion, but it don't mean a thing if you can't root it in reality. So get into your body, make contact with your body. Enjoy some carnal pleasure. You know, I have to bring it in because there's a lot of action going on with Lilith right now. Oh, yes, there's a lot of action going on with Lilith right now. Lilith is, you know, hanging out there, trine the North Node, and is sitting there with Pluto square North Node and Venus trine North Node. So you know what that means. That means we are looking at this energy because this is what came out next. And I was like so blown away by this. Here we go. Here comes that devil. You know what I'm saying? This is the 9 of Cups. Okay, so this is about gratification on offer. This is about wishes on offer. It's also a little bit of that medicine of be careful what you wish for. Is the risk really worth the reward? You really want to get clear on this in arriving at your truth that will get you into a position of being able to take action. This is very key. Is the risk worth the reward? Because we can go for that instant gratification and we can operate in the shadow side. Okay, and we know the shadow is front and center with this. When we're looking at North Node, we're looking at destiny. That's what we're all in the process of doing, preparing to take that first step into the initiatory gateway of our destiny. And so we have to notice what's going on with the North Node and Pluto being there, trine Lilith and Venus. It tells us that to truly follow our hearts might create disruption in our lives. It might, you know, shake our foundation. It also might have us really facing our fears and the need to transform some of our own patterns of behavior, our own faulty views, the way we move through things, okay? So this is nothing minor. It's radical. When we look at Lilith, we are also looking at a very like gratifying, empowered, strong kind of energy. I was going through a comment today and somebody had brought in owl. So again, here comes our friend, the owl. Owl is connected to Lilith energy. All right, so there is that magic and that mystery, but a deeper undercurrent of it. You know, a more subterranean undercurrent of it going on right now. There's deep alchemy happening. There's deep alchemy happening right now that is just not actualized. You can't see it yet, but you can feel it. If you put your ear to the ground, you can hear the memo, like you know what's coming. It's that. It's like that vibratory. It's that deeper frequency. You know, but to really get tapped into that deeper frequency, you got to drop in. You really got to drop into the body. You got to get down to earth, okay? But it's really beautiful because I want you to see what's coming in with that Kazemi, right? I talked about the happy ending of the story, and the card that came out after this was the Four of Wands. And after that, the Ten of Cups, the ultimate fulfillment of the Ace of Cups. So this is this alignment, you know, this celebration, getting your flowers. You know, this looks pretty good to me. This is like winner's circle energy. You hear what I'm saying? So this is what's on offer. And so I want to just do a little read for all of us, okay? We do have the Sun conjunct Venus today. I want to touch on the Venus aspects, but we do have Venus square Uranus. So that means that anything can happen. And we know that there is like this disruptive edge that is in the mix. We know we got Sun square the Moon, so we have to look at, well, what's going on with the Moon. We got to pay attention to that, because the Sun is very front and center right now, but it's also difficultly aspected to the Moon. So with the Moon, we got a trine, so that helps balance things out a bit. All right, it's trine Mercury, Mars, and Pluto. So this is good. It means that, yes, there's disruption, but it's sort of like higher order. It's like sometimes this is what needs to happen. We get too comfortable and we need to be pushed toward the edge so we can really get in touch with what has true meaning for us. What has true alignment for us? Because if you feel that deeply for something, that you will take the risk, because that's how potent your calling is, you know, that's how strongly you feel emotionally invested in it. There's magic that happens in that leap. You take the leap, luck will catch you, you know, but first you got to have some bravery, some daring, which is working with the positive aspect of Mars energy. You know, it's taking the initiative. It is raising the wand and directing it purposefully. Remember, lose spear, marrying the energy of the sword of truth, frog rock, the answerer. You know, that's what it means. The answer. It means I have the truth. And the truth is sort of like, the truth is judgment, right? So in judgment, we see Gabriel blowing that horn. It's like, okay, you got the truth. You got the call. Are you going to pick up? Are you going to act? So once you draw that sword from its sheath, you take that action and you move in step with your truth. That's the transforming point. That's when you shoot your shot. And how's it going to end up? Well, you're going to find out. You're going to find out a clue about that on the 13th. So we're heading through sort of like the eye of the needle right now. That is the energy in play. You're going on a little bit of a mini quest. This whole cycle has the feel of, you know, of a quest, you know, a quest in a very condensed period of time. And this is really coming forward. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to just get clarification on each of these cards as they came in. I'm gonna not the 10 of cups, and not the 4 of wands, and the 9 of cups. You know, and that 9 of cups and 10 of cups also makes me think of like looking at it from a more expansive, a broader perspective. It reminds me of thinking about what is the wish that is for the collective, that's more collectively minded as well, as opposed to just focusing on that independent energy, because we also have the Sun square Jupiter and the Sun square Uranus. So we know that we're weighing up right now. It's like weighing up with those Libra scales in the South Node. Is the risk worth the reward? You know, if we act too much in our self-interest with Jupiter, that can be a very selfish energy, and it can create disharmony, disruption. Fortunately, we do have, you know, that Moon trine Mercury, Mars, and Pluto. It's also conjunct Jupiter and Uranus. So we got, okay, isn't it interesting, the polarizing energies, the Sun, the Moon, this dance that's going on, and what's happening between both of them, okay? And sun, masculine, moon, feminine. You know, it's these interesting alchemical ingredients that are sort of like cooking up in that cauldron of dogda. Right now we're getting all the ingredients together to make our collective soup, you know? So there's something very interesting happening here. And I did want to just, before I pull out these cards and we drop into all that, I did want to kind of like just give you a little snapshot of what's going to be coming in. Maybe I'll do this as I shuffle these cards, okay? So we can just get a fresh deck here. And actually, do I want to use a different deck? Yeah, let's use a different deck to get clarification. Let's bring in a little whimsy. I am feeling a little whimsy energy today. King of Cups on the bottom of the deck there, okay? Yeah, it's like Daddy wants to give us his Ace of Cups, you know? We have to be ready to take it. And that's really kind of the energy that's in play. And I think of Daddy energy. It reminds me of, like, you know, big sweet Daddy Jupiter, you know, wants to give up these blessings to us. But, you know, it also is about being very mindful of what we're wishing for. Is it really in alignment with us? Because, you know, things are likely to kind of like pay off in unusual ways at this time. So you want to make sure you're in alignment. I do want to bring this in, though. I kind of like came up with sort of like little catchphrases that captures the like overarching theme energy of what is coming in for you, each individually for each of the astrological signs during this cycle of the Lion's Gate leading up to that Kazemi on the 13th. So I thought I would go ahead and just give you for each of the signs your little catchphrase overarching theme, and you can see how it plays out for you during this window. And I think you'll find it very interesting. So it'll also call in each of your Ebb's judgment on the split as I did that. And the bird just flew by. Like, there's a lot of this going on right now, so please pay attention to synchronicity, because life is really talking to you. Life is really pointing you in some potent directions. So it's about being mindful of noticing the signs, because the more you notice them, the more life will communicate with you. But I like this, bringing this piece in now, because it'll allow me to call in each of your energy as I shuffle for you. So Aries, your theme is leap of faith. Of course, you're at the forefront. Luck will catch you. If you take the leap, luck will catch you, okay? And you are always first out the gate. So, you know, a lot of Aries are preparing to take some kind of leap, all right? And on whatever level they feel prepared to take it, okay? Like I said, it doesn't have to be something major. It's really about just taking that first step is what has the path rise up to meet you. I'm telling you, everything comes into alignment when you act on your truth at this time. For Taurus, it is home is where the heart is. All right. For Gemini, it's all about networking. It's all about who you know right now. Okay. And getting the word out there. For Cancer, it's mind on your money, money on your mind. You know, you're looking at how you can increase income, how you can get yourself on the upswing financially. Okay, Leo, it's making more time for simple pleasures in life, you know, just to kind of like just enjoy life for a bit, not feel like you have to be so pressurized all the time. Okay, for Virgo, it's all about feeding your spirit, you know, making time to really drop into your soul, you know, connect with your spirituality, whether you do that through ritual or meditation or being in nature, you know, whatever speaks to you. And also just like the very simple pleasures in life, the simple things, okay? Simplicity will reveal a lot to you, especially just allowing yourself to kind of like just take it a little bit more easy and enjoy yourself, right? Virgo, it's all about feeding your spirit. All right. Oh, that's interesting. I feel like, I don't know if I just did because I'm in the middle of channeling, but I feel like I went back and forth between Leo and Virgo. So there might be, you know, a lot of Leos and Virgos, you know, dealing with each other right now. Could also be like your energies are kind of playing off of each other. Well, Mercury is at the forefront. Yes, and the sun. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Simple pleasures, Leo. You might want some simple pleasures with Virgo. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that, or vice versa, right? Virgo, yours is all about your spirituality, really getting connected on a spiritual level, okay? Libra, it's about finding your kindred, you know, finding the people that you really connect with on a soul level. Finding the people you have that sense of quantum entanglement with, where there's just this connecting energy, you know, and it's inexplicable, but it's there and you can't deny it, okay? And this can happen on a friendship level. This can happen on a romantic level. This can happen on a mentor level, a teacher, somebody that you're meant to like grow something with, build something with, okay? An architect of the future that's meant to draw up some designs with you. I just got that in, all right. That could be very significant for the collective as a whole, since Libra is in the South Node right now, all right, but coming through for Libra very strongly. This is a time when you may experience reunions too, Libra. These can be people from your past coming back around the bend. This is going to be an interesting time just karmically. There's a lot that's going to be coming forward, okay? So notice, pay attention to that. Where are you feeling the connection? Where are you not? All right, this piece too. You might be really noticing that, where you're feeling connection and where you're not, you know. This might be coming forward very strongly at this time, especially with all the squares going on. You're trying to balance out those two aspects. Libra is also associated with that, you know, Mars energy as well. People don't realize that, you know, Venus was the goddess of love and war. Remember, Libra has to balance the two. That's maybe the job for the collective as a whole at this time, really balancing, being in the center balancing point, the masculine, the feminine. And what is that bridging point? We've been talking about this a lot. It's the heart. It's the heart, right? Making the heart lighter than the feather, okay? Scorpio, for you, it's all about busting through blocks in your career, all right? Where you felt stuck, where you felt held back, you are going to find a way through, all right? Sagittarius, the call, answer it. And I got, for some of you, it's very literal, you know? It's very literal. It involves a phone call, okay? For some of you. But yeah, the call, answer it. Answer it. Don't let it ring. Don't think you'll call later, you know, you'll get to that later. You'll put it off till later because it's gonna slip through your hands. That's coming forward very strongly. You're really being called to do something at this time. It might be very challenging for you, but it's so important that you follow through with what you are being called to do at this time. Answer it, okay? For Aquarius, it is about really understanding that the truth will set you free, and say what you need to say. Like, you got to speak your truth. You got to undivide your love. No matter how scary it may be to really give yourself over to love, it's so essential that you let those walls come down right now. And Pisces, for you, it's all about seva, you know, being of service. And it's interesting because Two of Wands in reverse, just as I said that. So this is important because we do have this energy coming up at the Pisces blue moon, 44 on the clock here when I said that. So, you know, we might have been more focused on our inner worlds. We might be collectively more focused on, you know, what's going on in our own little neck of the woods. But there is this part about looking up from that and being aware of like what's good for the greater whole that is very, very essential right now. And then we can see a way forward. There's some kind of There's something to be gained for Pisces at this time that involves anything around community, bringing people together, more altruistic pursuits. Seva, something feels really like healing, centering about it, and there's some kind of gift that comes through being of service. And you're also being called to a higher service, and to actually, really acknowledge that and step into it, Okay, so let's go ahead and see. We're going to look first here at the Tower. What is the Tower about? Let's get some clarification on the Tower for the collective. What do we need to know about this Tower energy? What do we need to know about this Tower energy? We already know what the victory is. This fell on the ground. Strength. It has something to do with something that we thought was long and buried. It's being dug up, There's treasure here. When I think of digging in the ground for treasure, it's a messy process. You get dirty, Sometimes you dig and you dig and you dig and you can't find it, and you have to go to other locations and try digging there, But there's something that comes from that. Also, it made me think of the roots. That piece already came in as well. This is a Leo card. Okay, so this may be really coming up in Leo season, of course, with Venus being retrograde in Leo. We are looking at our roots. We are looking at our roots at this time, and you may be having some things come back up for you that you thought you had already dealt with. I'm not feeling that anymore. They are resurfacing at this time, but there's something here to be healed. A lot of soulmates are coming around for healing, okay? So there's something about allowing the passage of time to kind of like soften things a little bit, right? With rock, water over time can soften, shape, make big canyons. Look at the Grand Canyon. That was all where water really eroded what was harsh, strengthening through more flow, strengthening through more giving over of the emotions to allow the vulnerability to come through. Understanding that where people have been angry or agitated or frustrated, that behind that, there's probably a lot of vulnerability. And this is a clue for how we can really work with that Moon, trine, Mercury, Mars, and Pluto energy. We have the ability to really communicate and transform where maybe there have been towers in the past. Maybe there were really harsh endings in the past. I feel like a lot of this energy is coming forward for people to have healing in their relationships, whether that be with a lover, with a family member, a friend, even with yourself, anybody who's important to you. And I sure hope that you're important to you. A lot of you are doing a lot of deep healing. You're finally coming to understand yourself and love yourself on a level you never have before. But this is very much that journey of Libra energy with the Empress here, taming the beasts of the past, So I feel like this is very much forward for the collective right now. We are transforming these energies. We are balancing our karma from the past, in particular in our relationships. This may also provide some illumination. You may realize as you open up to these communications that I had it all wrong. I wasn't seeing things accurately, okay? Something that comes forward now, it's revelatory. What does it do? It gets things moving, okay? Moves you out of that fixed position and gets you moving. Where does it get us moving? Where does it get us moving with the Wheel of Fortune? Out of illusion. Look at this, the Moon in reverse. We're no longer in illusion. We get moving. We got the truth. We see things accurately right now. Once we see things accurately, then it's like, okay, I see what needs to be cleansed. I see what needs to be cleansed. I need to have a different perspective. And I don't know why, but this is reminding me of Narcissus. Narcissus was obsessed with their reflection and would just stare into the pool of water, admiring their beauty. It's sort of like you got to look up at that, you got to look up at that star. if you hope to find hope. You can't just think of yourself and what's best for you. You have to think collectively. I don't know why that's coming through, but I feel like that's very significant, especially because that 9 of Cups came out in tandem with the 10 of Cups and the 4 of Wands. It's about remembering the other, okay? It is about being mindful of the other as well. And perhaps this is what is shifting, this consciousness of separateness, this consciousness of me, me, me. Maybe it's about moving out of that to we, okay? So there's something that's really shifting here during this time, and it's very significant. All right, tell us about the star. Tell us about the star. Tell us about the star. Woo, woo. Yeah, we can't see it right now. It's being tossed aside. Yeah, look at this. All this defensiveness, all this Chicken Little, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. You know, like you're preparing yourself for something awful to happen. And you don't want to do that, because when you prepare yourself for something awful to happen, it most certainly will turn out like that, okay? So this is about not approaching the present like it has any bearing or resemblance to the past, because it doesn't. This moment right here, right now, is always being born anew. And it's about you really understanding that and kind of getting out of that fixed position where you realize that this is a dynamic, creative, playful environment where, yeah, things are unpredictable. You don't get to control it. Why does that have to be a bad thing, though? As long as you're aligned with your heart and you really know where you feel led, you can't go wrong. Okay, so this is very significant right now. Let down the guard, all right? Let down the drawbridge. Yeah, you know, this disempowers you when you know, oh, I don't know. You got, remember, you got to know what is worth not giving up on, okay? This is about really coming into alignment with that truth. Once you are in alignment with what is not able to be given up on, that's when you get through to the other side. And it brings the, look at this, the death of this, the star in reverse. I love it. The star in reverse, clarifying death. An end to this. An end to looking like there's no hope, things aren't going to get better, focusing on everything that is wrong. Instead, it's time to really shift the perspective. Look at it, shift the perspective up on the deck, man. Shift the perspective, and then you'll be seeing right, you know? Then you'll joyfully go down that path as you step into your destiny. All right, you're being asked to transform fate into destiny. Sometimes a rough break can turn into a lucky break. I mean, Falcor is the last luck dragon. He came in for all of us, and he's saying there's something good going on here, because you know what? We also got Chiron trine Venus, and so that means here we are on the other side where we can finally see the healing that we've been waiting for, right? Knight of Swords. But first, you got to draw Falcor. You got to draw Falcor forward. Your chariot, Falcor will come in as your chariot to take you once you draw Froggerok, that sword of truth, and you act on it, because knights are about action. Look at that. And marry it with the Ace of Wands to the Spear of Blue, and you shoot your shot. You shoot for the moon, and you hit it fair and